Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and we're here to review the 2022 survival film Fall, which I'd heard a lot of good things about it, and it's only now that I actually got a chance to watch it. In fact, I actually watched it this afternoon. So let's see who's in this film. So the movie, which is directed and co-written by Scott Mann and Jonathan Frank, they're the ones who came up with 47 meters down, and the story is very similar to this, to be honest. It stars the lovely Grace Caroline Curie, previously known as Grace Fulton. And if you don't know who she is, she plays Mary, the oldest of the kids in Shazam, and in the sequel Shazam, forgot Shazam Part 2, forgot the full name, Fury of the Gods, sorry, that's the name. So she's in it along with Virginia Gardner. Mason Gooding, who I think I've seen him in something else before. He is the son of Cuba Gooding Jr., the grandson of Cuba Gooding Sr. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan, of course, Negan plays the father of Grace's character. So, what's the movie about? It's basically what white women do, and only white women do. So, yeah, I mean, I had to put that in. So, the beginning of the movie, you see Grace, who plays Becky, and her close friend Hunter, played by what's it kind of Hunter? Her name is actually Silo Hunter, okay, but or Shiloh, I don't know how you pronounce it, but we'll call her Hunter for now. Played by Virginia Gardner, and Mason Gooding, who plays Dan Connor. Dan is Becky's husband, and the three of them are going rock climbing. I mean, they're basically in the mountains, and unfortunately, at one particular point, I think it's a bat or something startles Dan, and he loses his footing and he falls to his death. So 1 year later, Becky is basically given up on. She's given up on all her hobbies, and she's become an alcoholic. She's estranged from her father. Her father didn't like Dan, so that is put a big rift between them, and he wants her to move on, stop the grieving, and continue on with her life. So she shuts him out. Hunter comes and meets up with her just before Grace contemplates maybe taking a lot of pills and ending her life. So Hunter tells her that she wants to climb this decommissioned 2,000 foot, which is 610 meters, B67 TV tower, which is way out in the desert. Before it is demolished, the next year it's going to be demolished. So one of her Hunter's goals was actually to climb it. She's got an active social media following where she does all these climbing and outdoor things, and then she shoots videos and clips of it, basically I guess Instagram and all the Facebook and stuff. So she asks her to come along. After a while, Grace says she'll go. So they also decide that she can scatter Dan's ashes, which she's got actually in a box, just lying there. She can't bring herself to actually toss the ashes away. But they decide, okay, this might be because he also loved climbing, so they decide to go in. So the next day, they go to this corroded ladder and this huge pole at TV tower all the way out in the desert. I mean, that's why I said this is only something that white women would do in America. In the middle of the desert, they have to travel all the way inside, and then there's another place where you still have to go, I don't know how many kilometers inside. It's I think 2 or 3 kilometers still inside, after a fence that says no trespassing. So they decide to go, and and it's 2,000 feet up high. So they start climbing. They reach the top. They take all these dangerous pictures, and they kind of enjoy the moment, and they scatter the ashes. And they also have this small drone which they're shooting videos of. And what happens is when they're climbing down, you see the ladder screws have come off, it breaks. So they have to scramble back to the top, and the bag that they have falls onto this communication dish, and it's got it's just beyond their reach of their rope, and it's got their holy water that they have. So unfortunately there is no signal, so they can't call anybody. Of course, they didn't even tell anybody where they were. So all the emergency services, everything is not available. They try to use their cell phones. They find a person, two men actually in an RV nearby, and they try to get their attention with a flare, but they don't see it. They see it, but A flare gun was actually the emergency box on top of the tower, top of this particular thing, and they instead they find this, they find the car, they steal it, and they run away. That was actually a little bit funny. And then finally, there's a little bit of a confrontation going on because so they try another way to get the signal across. They put Hunter's phone, put the message in her phone, type a message, put it in the phone, pad it, and then drop it down. It doesn't work. The phone actually gets destroyed. But then a little later, Becky sees a note and a tattoo which says 143, and everybody knows 143 is "I love you." Now this is something which Dan used to tell Becky a lot, and then she speaks to Hunter. She confronts her, and she finds out that before Becky and Dan had got married, Dan was having a secret affair with Becky, and they ended it just before the wedding. But now, even though she's in tears, Becky doesn't agree to it. So the next day, they don't have water. They're struggling quite a lot. So Hunter decides she's going to try and get the backpack, but she slips, and she has to drop onto it and then climb up, get the bag to her. She drinks some of the water, then gives it to Becky. They're able to get some of the strength. I forgot to mention that Becky is also injured over here. So they finally decide they need to get the drone charged. So there is this, basically on top of the tower there's something that they can use to plug it. So they do, and Becky is basically struggling. She's got to be in this position for many hours while the drone gets charged, and there's buzzards flying around, and what do you call it, a vulture basically. I think that's what you call a buzzard. So there's she's really struggling, but then she comes down. They get the drone working again, and they try to deliver a message onto it to a house far away from the desert, far away from where they are, but it is struck by a truck and it's destroyed. So finally, Becky is very delusional from lack of food and water. However, this is the twist that you actually find, that when she's trying to find the other shoe, then she realizes that she's been talking to herself, she's been having hallucinations of Hunter, and then she remembers in a moment of clarity that Hunter actually died when she had fallen onto the communication disc. She was killed, and there's vultures that's eating her flesh. And Becky had basically got traumatized by it, and she's been hallucinating, very similar to 47 meters down. So she's traumatized once again when she realizes that she's actually been alone and she's been hallucinating Hunter to actually get this done. She finally captures a vulture out of desperation when she's pretending to be asleep, and the vulture comes in. There's a cut on her leg, so the vulture's trying to bite at it. She grabs the vulture and kills it by breaking its neck and eats some of its flesh. Kills it, breaks it, tries to eat some of the flesh. Once she gets a little bit of her strength back, she climbs down to the dish and basically has got to use her phone, put the message in, shove it in Hunter's body, and then she pushes the body down. When it hits the floor, the message does get passed to her father, and she's able to drink some water now, and the message is received. He calls 911, and he rushes onto it. By the time he gets there, the cops and the ambulance have all been there. They have taken away Hunter's body, and Becky's been treated by the first aid responders ambulance, and then she gets back with her father, and they reconnect, and he takes her home. That's the movie. So yeah, I didn't bother about saving any spoilers because movie's been released for quite a while now. How long? Anyway, I think it's been over a year now. Yeah, it was released in August of 2022, and on Blu-ray and DVD and digitally by September end beginning of October. So yeah, pretty good film. Even though the fact that the twist is I didn't expect it, but I didn't realize that it was actually the same people from 47 meters down. If so, then I would have definitely expected it. I actually thought something else. They might actually push each other or something like that and both will die. They didn't. Becky at least survives, which is good because she's a very cute actress. So yeah, you can watch some other clips of how they practiced for the role. A lot of it is green screen. The movie was made on a budget of just $3 million, and it made 21.8 million at the box office. They do a lot of great things with such a low budget. To be honest, it's a fantastic movie to watch because it just looks so amazing. To be honest. And to be honest, I was also surprised to find that BuzzFeed Studios is actually one of the production companies along with a couple of others, and it was distributed by Lionsgate. So yeah, that's basically it about Fall. I'm really glad I watched it, enjoyed it. I will definitely be trying to get the DVD at some point in time if I ever do make some extra money. And yeah, I love this movie to death. So I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10 to be honest. Good night.